There they go, telling Canadians, stop all your complaining. You've never had it so good. If you're one of the 1.5 million people eating at a food bank, stop your complaining. You've never had it so good. If you're one of those people going to a food bank seeking help with suicide, which is becoming increasingly common, they tell you, you've never had it so good. If you're one of the 35-year-olds living in your parents' basement because this government's policies have doubled rent and doubled mortgage payments, they tell you you've never had it so good. Why? Because they're spending all their time with McKinsey consultants. How much did those consultants get from taxpayers?
The average price for a one-bedroom rental in Hamilton is over $1,700 a month.
And now their second tactic. First, they tell Canadians they've never had it so good. Now they admit that it's miserable, but it's everyone else's fault. The rest of the world did not raise the rent in Canada. Rental rates are set here. We don't import our apartment buildings from Russia. We build them here in Canada. We don't set mortgage rates in Russia. We set them here in Canada. And after $500 billion of inflationary deficits bidding up goods and constant red tape preventing the construction of the homes we need, our young people are stuck in their parents' basements. Why don't they stop blaming everyone else and finally take responsibility for the misery they've caused?
Hamilton actually doesn't even come close to topping the list. That goes to Toronto and Vancouver, where the average one-bedrooms are close to $2,500 and $2,600 a month, according to rentals.ca. But there are many places on the list that are more than Hamilton, including Burlington, Guelph, Kitchener, London, and Brampton, just to name a few.
Now, their third tactic. First, they say everything's great. Then they say it's terrible, but it's everyone else's fault. Then they say we should stop talking about how miserable people's lives are. He seems to suggest that people are anxious because I'm telling them that they can't afford food. No. Their stomachs are telling them that they can't afford food. They seem to think that if I stop talking about the fact seniors in Northern Ontario can't heat their homes because of the carbon tax, that seniors won't notice that they're cold. They seem to think that if I don't talk about the 35-year-old living in his parents' basement, he won't realize that he's living there. Mr. Speaker, why don't they fix the problems instead of telling people to shut up about them?
The rent? Well, it's high. You already knew that. But new numbers from the federal government show just how bad it is in British Columbia. Of the 37 metro areas that the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation track each year, Metro Vancouver is right at the top. But Victoria is number 3, and Kelowna is number 4. And things are quickly getting worse.
After 8 years of Liberal incompetence, mismanagement, and corruption, Liberal insiders like McKinsey have never had it so good, with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts for work that government departments are saying they could have done instead. It's just like the WE scandal, and Canadians are worse off than ever with soaring interest rates due to out-of-control Liberal spending and because of 40-year high in food inflation. Can anyone on that side tell us why Liberal crony handouts are more important than lowering the cost of living for everyday Canadians?
Ms. Landsman, I want to ask you, what is the #1 priority your party would like to see achieved in this sitting?
I think the #1 priority for Conservatives is also the #1 priority for Canadians, and it's to get that cost of living down. We've seen inflationary deficits drive those interest rates where mortgage payments are out of control. Rental housing is unattainable in the place certainly where I'm from and across the GTA, Lower Mainland and Vancouver, and now all over the country.
The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto right now is $2,481. That's 20% higher than the year before. And we're not talking about big places. We're talking about around 500 square feet. So that likely means a small kitchen, small living room, small bedroom, not much space for almost $2,500. So is there a fix for this? And how did it even get so bad? And this isn't just a Toronto problem. Average rents across Canada are now more than $2,000 a month for the first time ever. In Vancouver, the average rent for a one bed is $2,633 a month. In Calgary, it's $1,710, and in Atlantic Canada, that number is $1,716.
In fact, nearly 9% of food bank clients are seniors, up from under 7% in 2019. And the share of post-secondary students has grown to more than 7%.